Hey guys, it's Sherry Vegas, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how you can make floral pillar candles. So I have been sent this image so many times requesting me to do a tutorial on how to make this candle. So I'm going to show you my take on how to create a pillar candle and decorate it with flowers around the outside. Because we are making pillar candles, the first item that you're going to need is your mold. I like this one that I think I got from Aussie Candle Supplies. I'll find it and link it below because it comes in two parts and it has this piece that goes up through the center, which then allows you, once you've taken it out and demolded it, to add your wick in. There are a variety of different molds out there, the silicone, plastic, a few different styles. If you've never made a pillar candle before, I would highly recommend watching my part 1 and part 2 of a full beginner's guide to pillar candle making. But if you haven't watched that, stay tuned because I will cover most of the basics in this. That's just a super in-depth tutorial showing you all the different molds and different types of waxes that you can use to create pillar candles. And basically your candle will come out looking like this when you do make your pillar candle, so then you just add your wick in. You're going to need some flowers because we are making the floral flowers. All of these are dried. You don't want to use fresh flowers because fresh flowers are not going to go well when you put hot wax on them. You definitely want to make sure that every item that you use with wax is a dry product. Even if they do look okay after the wax, they will rot inside the wax because the wax is going to encase all that moisture in. So you just want to make sure that you are using dry flowers. You're going to need some measuring jugs, the wax of your choice. Today I am using this pillar candle wax, and it is, I think it's from Aussie Candle Supplies as well. I'll add the link below. But any sort of pillar candle wax that you like, there is soy, there's palm, there's coconut. There is a wide variety of different kinds of your pillar candle wax. But why you want to go for that is because you want to be able to demold it. Your traditional soy container wax is designed to stay in a container, not be pulled out, and will stick to the sides of your mold. This wax has been designed to be able to be removed from the mold, leaving you with a really beautiful pillar candle. You're going to need some wicks that will match up with the kind of candle that you are using. Today I've got the ACS cotton braid wicks in the 7.0, and those work really well with this container size. But whatever container size you're going for, you just need to match your wicks to that size. And you're also going to need some glue tack. You can use dyes if you want to color your candles as well, but I prefer these to look white and then have all the flowers as the decorations to my candles. And also the last thing you're going to need is just some scales so you can weigh out your wax. And also too, before I forget, any sort of fragrance that you want to add in. You can always leave these without the fragrance and just use them as a decorative candle, but you can also add fragrance into your pillar waxes as well. The first step that you're going to need to do is just to measure out your wax. So I'm just using my scales, and for this size I need about 350 grams of this wax. So I'm just going to measure that out now. Now that I have the 350 grams measured out, I am going to be doing the double boiler method. And so I'm going to be adding this into a heat-proof bowl and then placing that on my stove top. The reason why I like to use the double boiler method is because it lets the wax heat up really slowly. It lets me rise the temperature up without it jumping. You can, if you wanted to, heat this up in the microwave, but you have no control over how hot it gets, and sometimes you can make your wax too hot and accidentally scorch it. So I prefer to bring my wax, my heat up really slowly. I've just got my pot with a bit of water, and then I'm just going to add my wax on top, and that creates my double boiler. I've just placed my wax on the heat, so while I'm waiting for that to melt down, I'm going to prep my mold. So this mold comes in two parts, and this is going to be where your wick will go when you demold it. And when you put it up through, it is pretty tight, but you are pouring a liquid into it, and it's not going to be like watertight. So you need to make sure that you get a little bit of glue tack and just place it around the base, just like that. And basically your glue tack is going to basically act like a glue. And then you just press it in and it will just then hold down and make sure that's nice and firm and tight, and that glue tack is just going to act as a barrier and not let any liquid seep out. My wax is now melted and I've just taken it off the heat because it's gotten up to the correct temperature. With this particular wax, I need to get it anywhere from 90 to 95 degrees. By the way, all my measurements are in the metric system because I'm in Australia. So if you are in the US, you'll just need to convert all of those. And then before I can pour this, I need to get it down to, I think it was around the 56 degree mark before I should pour it. There's a few reasons why you need to get it up to a certain temperature and down to a certain temperature. When you get it up to the correct temperature, it fully expands out, which then allows you to add your fragrance in, and it will combine really well with the wax, the fragrance oil and your wax. And the reason why you need to get it down to the correct temperature is you can have issues if you pour it too hot. You can get a lot of air bubbles in it, you can get a lot of divoting. So I'm just going to let that cool down. I've got my thermometer in it, and once it gets to that 56 degrees, that is a great temperature to add in my fragrance. I don't want to add it in too soon because if it's too hot, it will start to burn off that fragrance. With pillar candles, a lot of the time they are used as a decorative candle, so you don't necessarily need to add fragrance in. It's only a personal preference, and because we are going to be decorating these, you can just use them for the sake of a decorative candle instead of necessarily a candle that has a scent throw as well. So the fragrance is completely optional. So I've got a little assortment of all different kinds of dried flowers. These have all been pressed, so they're going to sit really nicely inside my container. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour a bit of wax and then use the wax to help stick these to the edge. Let that wax set and then pour the rest of the wax in. Another alternative is you can also use honey to just adhere them to the edge and then add your wax in. It's completely personal preference. I'm just going to add the wax in around the edge and then place them in because I think that just looks a little bit more polished. So I'm just going to do one side at a time, coat that edge like that. And then I'm going to start placing my flowers in. Another method to adding your flowers on the inside, if you are finding it's a bit hard to pour in place, is you can always dip part of your flower into the wax and then place it down that way. So that's how the inside is looking. And I'm just waiting for my wax to get down to the correct temperature before I do pour the rest in to fill it up. But I wanted to show you a little cheat method. So what you can do is just get a pillar candle that is already formed and a little bit of wax. So all I'm going to do is dip these in. So dip your flowers in just a little bit of wax, and you can just adhere them that way instead of making your own candle. So just grab my flower, a little bit of wax onto the back, and then just placing it. So you can decorate your pillar candles that way. If you don't feel like making a full candle, you can always go and buy some cheap pillar candles and then just add a bit of wax to the back of your flowers and add them all around the outside. It's a really simple technique, but I do really like it when I make them from scratch because that way I can fragrance them with the exact fragrance that I want, and I know that they're just going to adhere a bit better because they're going to be formed into the candle, where these ones have just been stuck on the outside. So my wax is at the correct temperature to pour, and I'm just going to start pouring it in. You don't want to pour this too hot because you don't want it to accidentally melt off the wax that you've already made. If you wanted to as well, you could fragrance this wax. I haven't, but if you do want to see how to fragrance your waxes, I do have a full tutorial on that in my beginner's pillar candle making tutorial. It's been about 5 hours since I've poured this and it's no longer warm, it's nice and cool. You definitely do not want to demold your candles too soon. I would recommend even leaving them for 24 hours so that way they can really get solidified. If you do try to demold too soon, what might happen is you might damage your candles because it might still be liquid on the inside because the outside's going to set first but the inside is going to remain the hottest for longer. So the best thing you can do is leave these until they're really cool because you don't want to go through all of this effort making one and then break it at the very last stage. When I demold these particular style is really easy to demold. All I get is a tea towel and press it down, and if you use enough force pushing it down, it will push that out and then you should be able to just pull the rest of the candle out. It's pretty simple, so I'm going to do that now. Everything feels nice and cool. It's winter here, so these have set a little bit faster, but you can definitely leave it for a lot longer. You can leave it for a day to 2 days before you do feel the need to pull it out. I do have the candle that I did the quick little DIY on where I just used the wax to adhere the flowers with, which is still really cool and really pretty. But this way you're going to see like both techniques where you can just have a pre-made candle and add the flowers to the outside, or you can pour the flowers on the inside of your candle. So I just wanted to let everyone know that I am at nearly 100,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, and I would love to get to 100,000 by the time it is my birthday, which is in pretty much 1 month's time on the 20th of June. So if you are new to my channel, please feel free to hit subscribe. It would be like the best birthday present to get to 100,000. I do all sorts of candle making videos, arts, crafts, resin projects, and I post every single week. So if you are new to my channel, please do subscribe, as that would mean a lot to me. And if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. That helps me out. It lets YouTube know to share this video to more candle enthusiasts. And thank you guys so much for watching.